Dear students, in this module we shall discuss the methods of transmission of signals in the nervous system. The neuronal signals are transmitted in the nervous system in two forms. The first method is the graded electrotonically conducted potentials, and the second form is in the form of action potentials. Dear students, a signal is coded alternately in these two forms, that is graded potentials and action potentials. The graded potentials are produced for short distance conduction at the sensory and postsynaptic membranes, while action potentials are generated for long distance conduction along the axons. This coding also involves interconversion of electrical and chemical methods at synapses. We shall take an example in which a stimulus is received by a receptor organ at its sensory neuron. As a result, a signal is generated which is transmitted through the neuron into the other components of nervous system. When a stimulus is received at the receptor endings of sensory neuron, a depolarization, that is a change in membrane potential, occurs. This change happens in proportion to the strength of the stimulus. This potential change at the receptor site is known as receptor potential. This receptor potential is graded potential because it varies in a continuous fashion. Dear students, the time course and amplitude of a receptor potential are closely related to the time course and intensity of the stimulus. So, the receptor potential is an electrical neuronal analog of the stimulus. Actually, ये जो receptor potential है, ये stimulus की एक electric copy है. After receiving the signal spreads away from the receptor site passively through electrotonic conduction to the cell body part of the neuron. However, this signal decays over a relatively shorter distance. The decay happens because of the resistance of cytoplasm faced in the cell body, as well as due to the reason that this part of the neuron does not contain voltage-gated ion channels. So, action potentials cannot be propagated or produced in this part of the sensory neuron. For distant transmission, अगर इस सिग्नल को थोड़े से लंबे फासले तक ट्रांसमिट करना है तो उसके लिए ग्रेडेड पोटेंशियल्स काफी नहीं है. इसके लिए रीजनरेटिव एक्शन पोटेंशियल्स प्रोड्यूस करना होते हैं, which are produced at the spike initiating zone, that is the axon haylock. Axon haylock contains voltage gated ion channels और यही वजह है कि यहां पर एक्शन पोटेंशियल्स इनिशिएट हो सकते हैं. These action potentials can conduct signals without decrement for long distances. When the signal reaches the axon terminals, it is transformed from electrically encoded signals into chemical signals in the form of neurotransmitter molecules. This chemical signal is then transmitted across the synapse to the next neuron. When the neurotransmitter reaches the next neuron, that is the postsynaptic neuron, it causes potential change in the postsynaptic cell. The change in membrane potential happens when the chemical signal is converted back into the chemical signal, into the electrical signal. This membrane potential generated in the postsynaptic neuron is known as postsynaptic potential. The postsynaptic signal or postsynaptic potential produces a graded signal that reflects the properties of the original stimulus जिसने के ये सारा प्रोसेस इनिशिएट करवाया था, जो कि रिसेप्टर साइट पर रिसीव हुआ था और उसने रिसेप्टर पोटेंशियल जनरेट किया था. पोस्ट सिनेप्टिक पोटेंशियल बिल्कुल उसी तरह का रिसेप्टर पोटेंशियल की तरह का एक पोटेंशियल चेंज है जो कि ग्रेडेड होती है. दिस ग्रेडेड पोस्ट सिनेप्टिक पोटेंशियल अगेन ब्रिंग्स द spike initiating zone of postsynaptic cell to threshold, thereby triggering an action potential in the postsynaptic cell. इस तरह से अगर हम देखें तो एक सेल से इनिशिएट होने वाला सिग्नल दूसरे सेल में ट्रांसफर हो चुका है और उस दौरान में उसने इलेक्ट्रिकल और केमिकल दोनों फॉर्म्स और इसके अलावा ग्रेडेड और रीजनरेटिव एक्शन पोटेंशियल ये दोनों पैटर्न्स के ऊपर मूवमेंट की है. इस तरह से ये सिग्नल्स मूव करते हुए न्यूरॉन से पेरिफेरल नर्वस सिस्टम के न्यूरॉन से मूव करते हुए सेंट्रल नर्वस सिस्टम तक पहुंच जाते हैं.